Om Ajnanatimrandasya Shanam Chakshurmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namah Shri Chaitanya Manopistam Staptam Yena Bhutale Svamrupakadamayam Dadati Svapadantikam Vandeham Shio Shioda Padakamanam Shiram Vaishnavam Shah Shri Rupam Jagajatam Saganaragnatam Vitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savdutam Parjana Saitam Shri Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padan Saganalita Shivishakam Vitam Sha He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dinabano Jyatpate Gopesha Gopkakanta Radhakanta Namastate Tapta Kansana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavanashve Vishabhana Sutadevi Pranamama Hripriye Vankha Kalptavasha Kripasan Vevisha Patnam Pavanabhyo Vaishnavyo Namo Namah Jaya Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasati Gaura Bhaktavinda Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Namo Vishnu Padaya Krishna Vastaya Bhutale Srimati Bhakti Vedanta Swami Tinamine Namaste Saraswati Devi Gaurvanya Pacharane Nirvishesa Sunyavadi Paskachai Desatarane Srila Prabhupada Ki. So, in previous lessons, we mentioned that one's desires, one's ambitions develop according to one's association, the company one keeps. Sangat Sanyayate Kama. By association we develop desires. Therefore, if we want to progress in Krishna consciousness, we must associate with devotees. So now text 4 will explain what does it mean, the association. So what consists association so we will hear about what this association means in this text 4. Text 5 and 6 we will get further instructions on how to associate with different types of devotees. So we hope to cover text 4 and 5 today. We will first chant a verse. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Dadati pratihinati huyan akyati pritshati. Abhunkte bojayate cheva satvidam priti lakshanam. The word for word translation. Dadati gives charity. Patihinati accepts in return. Goyam confidential topics. Akyati explains. Pritchati enquires. Bhunkte eats. Bhojayate feeds. Tsa also. Eva certainly. Satvidam 6 kinds. Priti of love. Lakshanam the symptoms. Now we have the translation and the purport by Srila Prabhupada. Can someone read the translation, which is on the screen.
Hare Krishna Maharaj, please accept my respectful obeisances.
We,
Offering gifts in charity, accepting charitable gifts, revealing one's mind in confidence, inquiring confidentially, accepting prasada and offering prasada are the 6 symptoms of love shared by one devotee and another. Should I continue with Purport Maharaj?
you can read the first paragraph.
No. In this verse, Srila Rupa Goswami explains how to perform devotional activities in the association of other devotees. There are 6 kinds of activities: giving charity to the devotees, accepting from the devotees whatever they may offer in return, opening one's mind to the devotees, inquiring from them about the confidential service of the Lord, honoring prasada or honoring prasada or spiritual food given by the devotees, and feeding the devotees with prasada. An experienced devotee experiences and an inexperienced devotee learns from it. This is Guhya Makyati Pracha. When a devotee distributes prasada, remnants of food offered to the Supreme Personality of Godhead, in order to maintain our spirit of devotional service, we must accept this prasada as the Lord's grace received through the pure devotees. We should also invite pure devotees to our home, offer them prasada, and be prepared to please them in all respects. This is called Bhunte Bhojyate Chaiva.
Thank you. That good. Then the first point made here is yes, the exchange of gifts, confidential talks, and eating together. These are the essence of loving dealings between friends. That is the moment. Organize the screen a bit here. That so nectar of instruction, text 4. How to associate with devotees. Yes. So Prabhupada explains even whether materialistic or devotional, these exchanges are practiced. That because every society, when these exchanges are not there, they are sure to dwindle and die. And that so this is also this is also in the business world. Business people come together to discuss the confidential the confidential techniques for selling or producing, and they meet, they exchange gifts, they eat together, and they discuss confidentially how to conquer the market. That so interesting. Prabhupada said our movement is just there to facilitate these loving exchanges between devotees. That and then Prabhupada quotes from Chaitanya Charitamrita. According to Chaitanya Charitamrita, everyone is ultimately a devotee, because pure love for Krishna is eternally established in the hearts of the living entities. It is not something to be gained from another source. When the heart is purified by hearing and chanting, the living entity naturally awakens. So what Prabhupada is saying is this: Krishna consciousness is not an artificial imposition of the mind. No, it is the eternal activity of the living entity. And this is deep-rooted within our heart. It may be covered, but in the soul this is there, that's the constitutional position, to love Krishna. We may have forgotten it, but that is what we, in the depth of our core, want, because it's our constitutional position. We are a part and parcel of Krishna. And we can only be happy if we are connected with Krishna, to the spiritual energy. So this love for Krishna is natural, but it's covered over. We have to remove the covering, and then the love will come out. So the heart has to be purified by hearing and chanting, and then the living entity will naturally awakens. It's that the living entity means the spirit soul becomes awake. That awaking our spirit, our dormant spirit soul, is done by chanting and by hearing about Krishna. If we hear about Krishna, then we can understand who we are and what our relationship is, and how to act in that relationship is devotional service. It's natural to serve. Its service propensity is in everyone. If one does not serve Krishna, well, one will serve society, one will serve the husband of the wife and the children, one will serve the boss, but service is there, it's natural. But it should be directed toward Krishna. Now, then Prabhupada says, yes, religion is a special function of human society, and the goal of human life is unmotivated and uninterrupted devotional service unto the transcendental Lord. Religion is a special function of society. Prabhupada explains when there is no religion, it becomes animal society, just for sense gratification. So it's a special function of human society. And the goal of life is unmotivated, uninterrupted devotional service. This materially unmotivated and always without interruption. Now, Prabhupada, this is this verse 126 of the Bhagavatam. Savaipum saparodamo yato bhaktiradokshya ahaitakapatiyata yayatma supasidati. The highest occupation for all humans is to engage in unalloyed devotional service to the Lord, and this should be unmotivated and uninterrupted. So this is transcription of that verse what Prabhupada mentioned in the purport. In order to achieve that goal, one should give up the company of yogis, jnanis, karmis, and philanthropists. Philanthropists, if you associate with them, they have mundane goals. Helping others on a material level. The yogis, they are also selfish. They want to like the jnanis, they want to merge with Brahman or becoming God. Many jnanis and yogis, they think, most of them, that Brahman is the goal. Am Brahmasmi. And I join with the spiritual energy Brahman. The karmis, they want sense gratification. So they have all material goals, and we should not achieve with them, not associate with them. We should associate with the members of the Krishna conscious movement, Prabhupada said, because it's the only movement that teaches one how to develop one's dormant love for Krishna. Dormant love. it's there, but we have to bring it out. Because it's a constitutional position of the spirit soul. Now, what does it mean, association? Prabhupada explains 6 kinds. The first 3 are on the screen. Dadati. So, giving gifts, offering gifts. And Prabhupada gives different options of gifts. Say in the holy name, that we offer the holy name to the purpose of Harinam Sankirtan. We go on Harinam and offer the holy name to everyone. And that's the most example of the Dadati principles. Of course, this distribution means also distribution of Prabhupada's books, this distribution of Prasadam, but that's a separate item here. And then Pratigrinanti. That's Dadati means giving, Pratigrinanti means accepting. Accepting the holy name serves as the Pratigrinanti principle, that acceptance. And then the Huyam Akyati, that's the first. That is the, Huyam Akyati. Inquire about the philosophy of Krishna consciousness serves the Guyam Prichati principle. That Huyam, it's Guyam. This is not correct. A few things to correct. Yeah. I think it was in this previous one. No. Here. Krishna consciousness. And that should be the, that should be Prichati. Guyam Prichati, inquire about the philosophy of Krishna consciousness. That okay, and of course that's inquiring. That's and Huyam Akyati is to explain about the science of Krishna consciousness. To submissive inquire serves the Guyam Akyati principle. Of course, that we find that also in other forms. That's Huyam Akyati means that one shares one's realizations confidentially with another devotee. That's Guyam Prichati. One devotee with another devotee, he shares his realization, and the other devotee listens. One is Guyam Prichati, the other is Guyam Akyati. And then Bhujati and Bhukti. Bhujati. Offering prasad to ISKCON life members and the general public at the Sunday feast and festival serves the Bhujayati principle, Prabhupada says. Yes. And to accept invitations to take prasad in the homes of life members serves the Bhakti principles. This is what Prabhupada mentioned in the purport. Of course, offering prasad to another devotee is also a gift, and receiving prasad from devotee is also a gift. So the Guyam Akyati principle. Let's try to understand that more deeply. Guyam Akyati. So Prabhupada writes, maybe someone can read that. What's on the screen?
Hare Krishna Maharaj, please accept my humble obeisances, O Lord Srila Prabhupada.
Please.
We should remember that as long as we keep doubts within our heart, we cannot progress. We should be sincere and straightforward and open our heart and exposing our doubts and difficulties. We should not fear to ask a question that may expose our foolishness. And when dealing with the life members, the devotee should answer with an open heart, without caring whether our answer will prevent the person from giving him a donation.
Yeah, so we straightforward, honest. That so Guya Akyati, means opening one's heart to another devotee. That inquiring confidentially. So loving exchanges between the members of ISKCON take place on two levels. Among practicing sadhakas with the congregation of life members, followers, and well-wishers. So that are different levels, and that among sadhakas and with congregation of life members, followers, and well-wishers. So these are two levels that the practicing sadhakas, they are following Vaidhi sadhana bhakti, and they inquire from equals on the level of equals. They are sharing things with each other. One who is on a lower platform of a neophyte will inquire from those who is advanced, and those who are advanced, they should guide those who are on a lower level. So devotees who are neither neophytes nor Mahabhagavats should love the Supreme Personality of Godhead, make friends with devotees, show favor to the ignorant, and reject the jealous and the demoniac. So this is a verse from the 11th canto, which Prabhupada is paraphrasing, which speaks about a Madhyamadikar. A Madhyamadikar is not a neophyte, is also not the Mahabhagavat. Ishvara Tatadineshu Balishot Vivachasa Prema Maitra Kipomeksha Yat Karoti Samatya. An intermediate or second-class devotee called Madhyamadikar offers his love to the Supreme Personality of Godhead. He is a sincere friend to the devotees that shows mercy to the ignorant and disregards those who are envious of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. So that is the standard. That's how we should act. We may not yet be on that platform, but we should try to develop love for Krishna. We should try to develop friendship with devotees. And we should try to preach to the innocents, and we avoid those who are envious, the demoniac, the jealous. Yeah. So the Dadati principle includes giving 50% of one's income for the service of the Lord and his devotees. So that's a principle, this 50%. Of course, the 50%, can be seen at various ways. Sometimes Prabhupada said 50% of the profit, 50% that of one's income. That, of course, one goes shopping for cooking for the deities. That's part of the 50% and so on. Okay. Loving exchanges between the members of ISKCON take place on two levels. We already discussed practicing sadhakas and with congregational members, followers and well-wishers. And here in the purport, Srila Prabhupada gives more details that he says an experienced devotee explains an inexperienced explains and an inexperienced devotee learns from him. So loving exchanges between the members of ISKCON and materialists are strictly prohibited. One should therefore be very careful to discriminate how one reciprocates with the various categories within the congregation. They may not all be devotees. Be careful. That unless one is very advanced, is unable to utilize everyone's contribution to further the Krishna conscious movement. Therefore, on principle, one should not accept charity from Mayavadis or atheists. That's quite a statement. On principle, that's okay. Right now. Yeah, here also one letter. Yeah. So one should not accept food cooked by karmis and Mayavadis, and should not reveal one's mind to them. One should not accept gifts from them, because their association is conducive to developing love for Krishna. So this is important. It is a very subtle influence that if we accept food cooked by karmis, our mind will become weak, difficult to control, because the material desires of these karmis enters the food. They may offer it to Krishna, but Krishna will not accept. That Krishna accepts food when it's offered with love. That's what Krishna says. Patram pastram phalam triyam yome bhaktya parichyati. Yeah, one offers me a leaf, water, food, and I will with love, then I will accept it. But as neophytes, we don't have love for Krishna. But we offer it on behalf of the spiritual master. And therefore Krishna accepts it. That's the principle. That, but karmis, Mayavadis, or their mind is contaminated with material desires or with offensive thoughts about Krishna, Mayavadis, and that enters the food. It becomes like poison for us. It contaminates our mind. And one should not accept him. That's a warning Prabhupada gives. Then, unless one is very advanced, he is unable to utilize everyone's contribution to further the Krishna consciousness movement. So you have congregational members on different levels. There are those who can give donations. There are those who can do some service in various ways, but we should engage them on their level. So Prabhupada said, therefore in principle one should not accept charity from the Mayavadis or atheists. Good. Then everyday exchange of gifts. So can someone read this, which is on the screen?
Hare Krishna Maharaj.
Yeah.
Please accept my humble obeisances.
Shai Prabhupada. So please read, Sandeep.
One important point you might make is that we should not forget to exchange gifts with the devotees every day. Sometimes we give more importance to outsiders and neglect those faithful souls we see every morning at Mangal Arati. We should care for them and show our appreciation for their association and contribution to spreading Lord Chaitanya's movement. As the saying goes, man is a social animal. If we don't have relationships with devotees, we will have relationships with karmis. So it is very important to develop loving relationship with devotees. And the best way to start is by eating Mahaprasadam together.
Yes. Best way by eating Mahaprasad together. Interesting. So it's important because we have a need of relationships, and we can have spiritual the relationships with the devotees are spiritual because Krishna is in the center. That if we have relationship with karmis, then that will affect us. So therefore, developing friendship with devotees is important. Friendship between devotees develops between those who are on an equal level. Equal level of spiritual advancement. Yes, and it's important. And the relationship with those who are more advanced is more referential, naturally. The relationship with those who are less advanced is a relationship of caring for them. We should develop that different kinds of relationships. Okay. Next. So you could mention. Oh, this again. You could mention that we should give our association on our terms. Some advanced materialists are very powerful, and although we can influence them, they can also influence us. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu gave us the example by refusing to see King Prataparudra. So we give our association on our terms, that on our principles, and that. So we can give association or not give association. So Chaitanya Mahaprabhu gave us the example of refusing King Prataparudra. So because a sannyasi should not meet with a king, a worldly person. But the devotees wanted that King Prataparudra in Jagannath Puri would get the mercy of Lord Chaitanya. And they made a plan. And this is in Chaitanya Charitamrita. During the Ratha Yatra, the King Prataparudra was dressed as a simple devotee and was sweeping the road before the cart of Jagannath. But then in the middle, when the cart stopped, there is a kind of park which is considered as Vrindavan. And Lord Chaitanya was resting in the park, and King Pratiparuda came and as a simple devotee, and Lord Chaitanya did not so-called recognize him, and he started to massage the feet and legs of Lord Chaitanya and offering service. By that he got also mercy of Lord Chaitanya. But it said give us an association to the innocent, and that the innocent, those who are not envious of Krishna, we can preach to them, but it is said here, it should be on our terms. Good. The principle of not accepting materialist contributions. Can someone read this part of the purport which is on the screen?
Please. So, Erika.
Sorry, go ahead, please.
Erika, you can read if you want.
Yes. So, possibly discuss the principle of not accepting materialist contributions in relation to personal gifts. We sometimes meet people who want to give us a personal gift. Should we accept it? According to the Bhagavad Gita, the gift which is given out of duty at the proper time and without expectation of return is in the mood of goodness, and there is no harm in accepting such a gift, provided we are sincerely engaged in spiritual activities. Then the person who gives in charity will be benefited also. But to accept a personal gift from a proud materialist is not recommended. We should also remember that as soon as we take more than our allotted quota, our minds get polluted by the mood of sense gratification along with the karmis, money gifts.
Mm-hmm. Yes, that is. So this is also important. We have our quota, we get gifts, but we should not accept more than we personally need if it's a personal gift. The sannyasi I get many times many gifts. I just give them to others mostly. Many times because what can I do with it? Unless it's something that's very practical use. Therefore it is said that we should look if we didn't use some object or something for 1 month, we should give it to a devotee who can use it. Okay, so this is the basis or the essential points from the purport, that it's important here to understand the importance of these engagements, that these 6 exchanges, that we can personally try to improve by giving more attention to these 6 exchanges of love. That yes, it teaches us also how to engage in preaching activities. So we can look how we can personally improve, but also as a society, how we can improve that. So, what are the obstacles to loving exchanges between between devotees? Is the development, we need to develop friendship, otherwise it's difficult to engage in these loving exchanges that learning to be personal with each other, that see sometimes in devotees come to the morning program. Some devotees come for years to the morning program and they never speak to each other. They don't know about each other really. That's not good. We should make contact and develop these loving exchanges. So there are certainly challenges to this. Someone wants to discuss that, comment or share something in relation to these exchanges. That yes, Benry.
Yeah, Hare Krishna. Also what for me was always difficult is also loving exchanges and Vaishnava etiquette, because sometimes, also since I'm in Golokadam, also in a temple with a lot of advanced devotees, so also for me it's it's difficult, because sometimes if I'm allowed to say like this, I have the feeling that through the Vaishnava etiquette, the loving expressions are a little, are not so natural, are a little like frozen. Also not, you know what I mean? Also through the Vaishnava etiquette, that means the Vaishnava etiquette is on top, and this loving exchanges for me are, especially as a beginner, then difficult to practice, and therefore the only thing I do since the beginning is giving gifts, because I think with giving gifts I cannot make an offense, and I can give a little pleasure, hopefully, to the other person. Therefore my main special field is giving gifts, because for the others I don't feel so qualified. Also now after 2.5 years it's already a little better, but so I find it sometimes difficult. Also loving exchanges to get it together with the Vaishnava etiquette under one head.
Yeah, the loving exchanges we can practice amongst those who are equal. That otherwise it's difficult. But with those who are, but what does it mean equal? Equal in spiritual advancement. That's the main thing. That from your generation in which you joined with them, that we should make friendship, and that with those who are more advanced and much senior, there you have the barrier of the Vaishnava etiquette. That's natural. That's there, because there must be a reference. That, but those who are beginners, who are that with them we can try to take care of them, but we cannot exchange confidential realizations with them, only with those who are equal. So it's if there are not enough devotees who are on your equal level, then that may be a problem.
Yeah, the problem is that I'm in an age where I'm naturally would be a little more advanced, And therefore, normally I'm 55. I feel attracted to the persons in my age. Yeah, but they are all 30 years already in Krishna consciousness, and therefore it's for me difficult to. There is almost nobody, also nearly in my age and on the same level. So.
Yeah, I think Prabhupada came in contact with his spiritual master in, I think, 1922. It means he was 26. That he got in initiation in 33. So he was 37 when he got initiation. That my spiritual master was also, well, he was much younger. But I was also 30 years old when I came to Krishna, in contact with Krishna consciousness. That's now 35 years. But that doesn't matter so much. But I mean, on the same level, we may be there for 15 years, and someone is 20 years, someone is 10 years. That's more or less the same generation, I would say. But making friendship is good to make an endeavor for that, and let's see. One cannot force friendships. Some are introverts, some are extroverts. That extrovert will be more easy. But it's still important that this relationship. Of course, sharing to those who are more advanced is also important to get their input. But there is a but here. You must have faith in them that it should be kept also confidential. So it's not automatic that we can do. We must also learn them and see whether they are really advanced. You can be 30 years in a movement. Does not mean that you are on a high level. That we have to see by the qualities, by the depth of their realizations, by hearing them speak about Krishna. And that's important also. But there's a necessity to do that. This sharing, that no need to do that on a daily basis, but yeah, it's because also when we hear lectures of senior devotees, many times during the lectures they share on a certain way their realizations also. Not always, but it is important. We learn from each other's mistakes, or we learn from each other's qualities, advancement. Association may take many forms. Sometimes sannyasis write books sharing their realizations, so that disciples can read and get realization. That kind of sharing also can take many forms. But yes, I think it's important. Also, Prabhupada writes in the purport, he speaks to be careful with life members, with congregational members, that They are not chanting or sometimes chanting, but they are doing some service that we can give our association, not take. That it doesn't make sense that they are going to reveal their mind to us unless they are inquiring and becoming sincere to make progress in Krishna consciousness. Yeah, and that if they are not sincere, then so this exchange, we have to be careful with this. It is important, and one must learn who is advanced and not advanced to practice this more expert. And that is what we will learn in the next two verses. That who is advanced and not advanced, to have proper exchange, and that because the next verse now, text 5, is very important. That but before we come there, that yeah. So what should we remember? The importance of these exchanges. That's important. We have to learn to practice it. That and by these exchanges, that will help us to improve our devotional service. You make friendship. If you make friendship, then there is an exchange on how about our practice in devotional service. And by that exchange, you support each other in sadhana, in practice. That so it's important to discuss that. So to make spiritual advancement, Rupa Goswami said, we need the association of devotees and discuss amongst themselves confidentially the practice. That like you can, devotees who are on the same level, they can come together and discuss like nectar of instruction, like we do, and then they discuss with each other how to bring that in practice. And by that they support each other in their practice, in their sadhana. And when they support each other, they become closer to each other and they want to serve together. That facilitates the service. And finally, that will help them to become more committed to Prabhupada's mission. So that's all the result of this exchange. Yes, Venu, please.
Yeah, because also my insignificant observation is that when devotees do service together, for instance, putting deities to rest, also it's mostly a team of two Vaishnavis, mostly here in Golokaram, they developed also friendship over the years. And I also feel to the one team to whom I'm connected, although I'm not on the same level, they are 20, 30 years in Krishna consciousness, but through doing the service together, some more intimate relationship develops. This is only my observation. What do you think?
Yeah, but it depends if they are open to have friendship with you, then you can make friendship. There is no obstacle to that. Yeah. But yeah, many devotees, they were serving for 30, 40 years. They have gone through so many things and they know the challenges. So it's good to hear from them what they went through and so on, and how they became more steady in devotional service by that. Yeah. Yes, good. Anything else? shall we go to text 5? Yeah, yes, Fenrir.
Yeah, I'm sorry.
No,
I
it's okay.
didn't understand also how to associate. The second point was pratigrinati. The willingness to accept the holy name serves the pratigrinati principle. I don't understand it at all. Maybe I also understood the English not correctly. Can you explain in other words which I can understand the willingness to accept the holy name?
To make it very simple, huh? We go on Harinam, means Dadati. We give the holy name to everyone who hears it in the streets. And the people who hear it, they patigenanti, they accept it. That's the idea. So that's giving and accepting gifts. That Dadati is giving the gifts, patigenanti is accepting. Like Guyam Prichati is revealing one's mind in confidence with someone others. That giving. And Goyam Akyati means receiving. Hearing another devotee reveals one's mind to you. That and Bhojayate means we give prasad, and Bhukti is receiving prasad. That's the idea. It's the English sometimes is yeah. It's not 100% clear, but it says pratigenanti is to accept the holy name, accepting. The dati means distributing, giving. That yeah.
Thank you very much, Maharaj.
Good. Yeah, because Kuyam Prichati says to inquire, but factually Kuyam Prichati means I share something with another devotee. That's giving. I give my realization that Agram Akrati means the other hears. That but Prabhupada brings it to a broader point. Yeah, Kuyam Prichati is not just giving one's realization, it's giving the philosophy of Krishna consciousness to others. It's giving books to others also. That, yeah, you bring it to a broader platform. And Guyam Akyati, receiving confidential talks, that a submissive inquirer receives the explanation. That's the point. Yeah. I hope that clarifies. Okay, good. Should we go to the next one, text 5? Then bring text 5 on the screen. Database is here. Yeah. Text 5. Krishneti yasagiritam manasadriyeta dikshastichat pranatibis sabadyantamisham susrusaya bhujanavihyamanan yamanya nindadi sunyaridamepsita sangralabdya. Can someone read the translation?
Krishna Maharaj is not on the screen.
Okay, I will bring it on the screen. It's coming, just a moment. Here it is. Yeah? Someone can read?
Hare Krishna, Maharaj.
Yes, please, Sandeep, read.
One should mentally honor the devotee who chants the holy name of Lord Krishna. One should offer humble obeisances to the devotee who has undergone spiritual initiation, that is Diksha, and is engaged in worshipping the deity. And one should associate with and faithfully serve that pure devotee who is advanced in undeviated devotional service and whose heart is completely devoid of the propensity to criticize others.
Thank you, Sandeep. So, we have heard these 6 loving exchanges in the previous verse, but in order to properly apply them, we must seek out, select proper persons to reciprocate. We cannot just do that unrestricted with all devotees. There must be discrimination with advanced, who is not advanced. So we have to learn what kind of Vaishnava or devotee should be selected as a friend, and how should we deal with different kinds of Vaishnavas. That is the subject of this verse. That's what we are going to discuss. So, in a broad sense, everyone who chants Hare Krishna is a devotee. But we see that within our movement, there are different kinds of devotees. Some are very serious about their sadhana, and some are not. Some are always talking about devotional service, and some are always reading newspapers. All devotees should be respected, but in order to make spiritual advancement, we must associate with serious devotees and distance ourselves from casual association. So, we will hear. Can someone read the first paragraph, please? Because, yeah.
Hare Krishna, in order to intelligently apply the sixfold loving reciprocations mentioned in the previous verse, one must select proper persons with careful discrimination. Srila Rupa Goswami therefore advises that we should meet with the Vaishnavas in an appropriate way, according to their particular status. In this verse, he tells us how to deal with 3 types of devotees: the Kanishta Adhikari, Madhyam Adhikari, and Uttam Adhikari. The Kanishta Adhikari is a neophyte who has received the Harinam initiation from the spiritual master and is trying to chant the holy name of Krishna. One should respect such a person within his mind as a Kanishta Vaishnava. A Madhyam Adhikari has received spiritual initiation from the spiritual master and has been fully engaged by him in the transcendent loving service of the Lord. The Madhyam Adhikari should be considered to be situated midway in devotional service. The Uttam Adhikari, or highest devotee, is one who is very advanced in devotional service. An Uttam Adhikari is not interested in blaspheming others. His heart is completely clean, and he has attained the realized state of unalloyed Krishna consciousness. According to Srila Rupa Goswami, the association and service of such a Mahabhagavata, a perfect Vaishnavas, are most desirable.
So, I go back to the verse. So he said, one who chants even once the holy name of Krishna, one should mentally honor the devotee. An example of that, what Prabhupada gives in the purport, is George Harrison. George Harrison, he was one of the Beatles, and he was attracted to Krishna consciousness. That at a certain moment he wanted to join the temple and the ashram, but Prabhupada said, no, you better do your business of singing, because you are very influential. In that way you can reach much more people and and spread the holy name like that. So I did not encourage him to join the temple, but he was chanting. Many times he chanted with the devotees. So that is like a devotee, a person who chants Hare Krishna. He does not chant 16 rounds and follow principles, but he chants Hare Krishna, and because George Harrison did not always follow these principles, that in his business was very difficult. But Prabhupada appreciated it. George Harrison also printed the first batch of Nectar of Devotion, of Krishna book he printed. He helped to print. There's a foreword, I think, from him in Krishna book. Or was it Nectar of Devotion? One of both. So
The Krishna book.
Krishna book, yeah, I was thinking. Yeah. So that's, we should mentally offer. But a devotee who has received initiation, we should offer our obeisances. So that is the Madhyamadikar, is engaging in worshipping the deity, that is received Diksha. And then the Uttamadikar has two characteristics in this verse. Is advanced in undeviated devotional service, so it's engaged in pure devotional service without any material motivation, and is completely devoid of the propensity to criticize others. This is averse to criticize others. He does not want to do that. So these are the three levels, and they are further explained in the purport. Is a very important purport. But before we go to the slides, let's first hear from these three kinds of devotees in the purport. So Prabhupada will quote three verses in this purport of three levels of devotees. The first is the Kanishta, then the Madhyam, and the Uttam. These are three verses from the 11th canto, chapter 2. In this chapter, the Navayogendras, very advanced Paramahamsa devotees, instruct King Nimi. So these Navayogendras are 9 sons of King Rishabhadev. King Rishabhadev in the 5th canto of the Bhagavata, in the 5th chapter, he instructs his 100 sons. And 9 of these sons are very advanced. Then 30 of them are Brahmins, the other are Kshatriyas. But 9 are Paramahamsas on the highest level of devotional service, and they are instructing King Nimi. King Nimi is asking one question to each of these Navayogendras. And King Nimi asked to Havir Yogendra, that's one of the Yogendras. He asked him the question, explain me, what are the levels of devotees and how can we recognize them? And these verses which we will hear in the purport is the answer. So can one read what's on the screen? Someone else wants to read?
One should not remain Kanishta Adhikari, one who is situated in the lowest platform of devotional service and is interested only on worshipping the deity in the temple. Such a devotee is described in the 11th canto of Srimad Bhagavatam 11 to 47. Archayameva haraye pujam ya shrathaya ihate natad bhakteshu chanyeshu sabhakta prakrita smrita. A person who is very faithful and engaged in the worship of the deity in the temple, but who does not know how to behave toward devotees or people in general is called Prakrita Bhakta or Kanishtadikari.
Yes. So this is the beginner that we will learn also in Nectar of Devotion, the verse of Rupa Goswami. He says there are 9 stages in devotional service, from Shraddha to Prema. Shraddha, you have faith in the beginning, and then Sadhu Sangha, you start to associate with devotees. And then Bhajana Kriya, from then you learn the practice of devotional service. You accept the spiritual master and you follow his instructions. And then Bhajana Kriya, in the beginning our practice is not on the required level. Usually we don't start with chanting 16 rounds, it's gradually built up and follow the regulated principles the same and hearing the Bhagavatam. But then when our Bhajana Kriya becomes Nistha Bhajana Kriya, becomes steady, then when one can come to Anartha Nivritti, when one gives up one's offensive mentality and the heart becomes purified. So if the heart is purified, then one attains liberation. So, did I attain liberation? We can question ourselves. Simple test. If you are still suffering and not always blissful, you are not liberated. That's the test. If there is still a pinch of suffering, you are not liberated. Then you are still a Kanishta. I was traveling in 2007 or 2008. I was traveling with Prahlad Nanamarch in the Balkan. We were something like pioneers there in the Balkan states, in Croatia, Serbia, and Bulgaria, and Romania, Slovenia. One time we were in Serbia and he told me confidential, you know I'm still a Kanishta, he said that to me. So at that time he was practicing 35 years. I'm practicing also 35 years now. 35 years. And he said I'm still a Kanishta. But how can we understand that? There are Kanishta is a broad level. You have the real beginners who are completely conditioned, and you have the Kanishta who is nearly liberated. They are also Kanishtas. We must understand that we are still, all of us are still Kanishtas, because we are still suffering, we are still so many things that if you come to the Madhyam level, then you are liberated. So Prabhupada says, in this life, we should at least come to the level of Madhyam Adhikar. So also it is the the Kanishta worships the deity, because that is for beginners, deity worship. That he has faith that the deity is God, but he doesn't behave properly towards the devotees. He thinks himself already advanced and makes offenses that he doesn't behave properly, because he cannot understand who is advanced and not advanced. A beginning Karnishta cannot understand that, and therefore makes offenses. And we go to that stage in the beginning. We make offenses because we don't know who is on what level. So that yes, and then the Madhyamadikar. Who can someone read about the Madhyamadikar?
One therefore has to raise himself from the position of Kanishta Adhikari to the platform of Madhyam Adhikari. The Madhyam Adhikari is described in Srimad Bhagavatam 11:2-46 in this way. Ishvari tad adinishu balishishu dvishatsusha prema maitri kripo peksha yaha karoti sa madhyamaha. The Madhyam Adhikari is a devotee who worships the Supreme Personality of Godhead as the highest object of love, makes friends with the Lord's devotees, is merciful to the ignorant, and avoids those who are envious by nature.
So that is interesting. This is the Madhyamadikar who is liberated. He develops love for Krishna. He develops prema for Ishvara. That Smriti had to leave. So Ishvara tadadineshu balishesu trivachisa. So Ishvara is the Supreme Lord. And for the Supreme Lord we develop prema. See? Love. Tat adineshu, to the devotees who worship the Lord, we develop maitri, friendship. And then for the balisheshu, the ignorance, we get kripa. And the trivachu, those who are envious of Krishna, upeksha, we neglect them. So these are 4 kinds of relationships here. But although we may still be on the Kanishta platform, we should act as Kanishtas on the level of Madhyams and practice these 4 categories. So in action we should all be Madhyams. That not mean that we are on that level, but we should act as Madhyams. Because the Madhyam Adhikar is liberated. We are not on that position. But to come there, we have to learn to act and preach, develop friendship with devotees, try to develop love for Krishna. That's an important point. That for us, we need to act on that platform, although we are not on that platform yet. But by acting on that platform, we will come to that and practice these 4. Yeah. Okay. So we have heard not yet about the highest, but can someone read this next paragraph? We are going here to the paragraphs I expect that you read them before, of course, or after, but that you read everything. But this text 5 is very important. Is that therefore we will read everything. Can someone read this paragraph which is on the screen?
This is the way to cultivate devotional service properly. Therefore, in this verse, Srila Rupa Goswami has advised us how to treat various devotees. We can see from practical experience that there are different types of Vaishnavas. The Prakrita Sajiyas generally chant the Hare Krishna Maha Mantra, yet they are attached to women, money, and intoxicant. Although such person may chant the holy name of the Lord, they are not yet properly purified. Such people should be respected within one's mind, but their association should be avoided. Those who are innocent but simply carried away by bad association should be shown favor if they are eager to receive proper instruction from pure devotee. But those neophyte devotees who are actually initiated by the bona fide spiritual master and are seriously engaged in carrying out the order of the spiritual master should be offered respectful obeisances.
Yes. So these are different kind of beginners. That those who are not yet initiated, whom we respect in the mind, and that they are not yet Kanishtas either. That they are before. That you have the Prakriti Sahaja. The Prakriti Sahaja takes the process very cheap. He remains attached to this material world and wants to be attached to Krishna. That's not possible. That if your attachment to this world is high, your attachment to Krishna is low. If your attachment to this world goes down, your attachment to Krishna goes up. Or if your attachment goes up, your attachment to this world comes down. But the Satyas, they want both, and that's not possible. That they don't follow the regulative principles, and they chant also and do these things, but they become contaminated and somewhat purified, but new contamination comes in, so it doesn't work. But we are still respecting them, because they are chanting the holy names. So Prabhupada said they are not yet properly purified. We respect them in the mind. And then you have those who are innocent but carried away by bad association, by Mayavadis or by materialistic people. But when they are initiated and serious, then we should respect them obeisances. They are on the way to become purified. Yeah. Can someone read the next paragraph? Yes, Erika, you have a question first.
Yes, but I can still wait.
No,
as you wish.
can.
I can? Yes. So now I understand how externally we can kind of make some kind of distinguish, which is good. But still, my problem and my desire will not be kind of solved, because what I would like and what I need to do according to the scriptures, I need to be able to find at least a madhyam, right? Then that means that liberated already. But even better if he's an uttama devotee. And there are so many high advanced devotees, right? And between them, I need to be able from the platform of the Kanishta to to choose right. It's just, for me, it's still mission impossible. And even if I try to follow these principles, that will not help me regarding to my main project actually. So there are some kind of other instructions or kind of help which can guide us actually how to.
Yeah, now, this is a beginning. We will hear more in the next verse also. But the question you bring up will be discussed in the last chapters here. How to accept the spiritual master. That I recognize. But yeah, you can now read the paragraph also.
Yes. In this Krishna consciousness movement, a chance is given to everyone without discrimination of caste, creed, or color. Everyone is invited to join this movement, sit with us, take prasada, and hear about Krishna. When we see that someone is actually interested in Krishna consciousness and wants to be initiated, we accept him as a disciple for the chanting of the holy name of the Lord. When a neophyte devotee is actually initiated and engaged in the devotional service by the order of the spiritual master, he should be accepted immediately as a bona fide Vaishnava, and obeisances should be offered unto him. Out of many such Vaishnavas, one may be found to be very seriously engaged in the service of the Lord and strictly following all the regulative principles, chanting the prescribed number of rounds on japa, Beads, and always thinking of how to expand the Krishna consciousness movement. Such a Vaishnava should be accepted as an Uttamadhikari, a highly advanced devotee, and his association should always be so.
So, Prabhupada gives here a very practical definition of an Uttamadhikar. It's one who follows strictly the regulative principles that and chant his rounds, and always thinks on how to expand the Krishna consciousness movement. It's very important. So if we accept the spiritual master must be dedicated to the spreading of Krishna consciousness very actively. So this is a very important aspect. So it's a very practical definition, but it's, in other words, Prabhupada says an Uttamadhikar is a strict follower, and someone who is dedicated to the spreading of the Krishna consciousness movement. So these are two very important things. It's not easy to follow strictly. To be there every morning at the morning program, the whole program, that read 2 hours a day, do everything very strictly for many years. It's rare souls. And that is, we should observe if we want to choose a spiritual master. That's how dedicated they are. That for how long. I always think we see devotees, even Prabhupada disciples, and they are practicing more than 50 years, 55 years without falling down. So that is certainly without falling down, 55 years, and always spreading Krishna consciousness. They are not ordinary persons. It's not. We can accept them as an Uttamadhikar, Prabhupada says. So that's an important point. Okay. The process of becoming attached by which the devotee becomes attached to Krishna is described in Chaitanya Charitamrita Antya Lila 4.192. Diksha Kale Bhakti Kara Atma Samarpana Se Kale Krishna Tare Kare Atma Sama. At the time of initiation, when a devotee fully surrenders to the service of the Lord, Krishna accepts him to be as good as he himself. So Diksha or spiritual initiation is explained in the Bhakti Sandarbha by Jiva Goswami. Divyam Jnanam Yato Datyat Kuyat Papasya Sanksayam Tasmat Diksheti Sapokta Deshikas Tatvako Vidai. By Diksha, one Gelde becomes disinterested in material enjoyment and Gelde becomes interested in spiritual life. And then Prabhupada gives practical examples. So maybe Sandeep Prabhu, can you read the next paragraph?
Yes, Prabhuji. Yes, Maharaj. We have seen many practical examples of this, especially in Europe and America. Many students who have come to us from rich and respectable families quickly lose all interest in material enjoyment and become very eager to enter into spiritual life. Although they come from very wealthy families, many of them accept living conditions that are not very comfortable. Indeed, for Krishna's sake, they are prepared to accept any living condition as long as they can live in the temple and associate with the Vaishnavas. When one becomes so disinterested in material enjoyment, he becomes fit for initiation by the spiritual master. For the advancement of spiritual life, Srimad Bhagavatam 6.1.13 prescribes Tapasa brahmacharyena samena cha damena cha. When a person is serious about accepting Diksha, he must be prepared to practice austerity, celibacy, and control of the mind and body. If one is so prepared and is desirous of receiving spiritual enlightenment, Divyam Jnanam, he is fit for being initiated. Divyam Jnanam is technically called Tad Vijnana or knowledge about the Supreme. Tad Vijnanartham Sa Gurum Evabhi Gachet. When one is interested in the transcendental subject matter of the absolute truth, he should be initiated. Such a person should approach a spiritual master in order to take Diksha. Srimad Bhagavatam 11.3.21 also prescribes Tasmad Gurum Prapadyeta Jigyasu Shreya Uttamam. When one is actually interested in the transcendental science of the absolute truth, he should approach a spiritual master.
So Tasmat Grum Papacheta Sikhnas Shreya Uttamam. That Tasmat means one should, it's no choice, one must. That Prabhupada said if one is interested in transcendental subject matter, it should be initiated. But once one is initiated, one should follow the instructions of the spiritual master. That's important. That if you doubt, you will not be able to follow the instructions of the spiritual master. Better not to take initiation. That one takes initiation when one is committed to follow the instructions. One may not be perfect in following them, but one should be committed. So what are the instructions of the spiritual master? Is the practical side of the practical instructions related to Krishna's instructions in Bhagavad Gita. And that, yes. Okay. Good. We are still we still continue. That so yes, let's learn the following. Yeah. Can someone read the next one? Maybe Erika, can you read again the next paragraph?
Yes. One should not accept a spiritual master without following his instruction, nor should one accept a spiritual master just to make a fashionable show of spiritual life. One must be jijnasu, very much inquisitive to learn from the bona fide spiritual master. The inquiries one makes should strictly pertain to transcendental science, jijnasu, shreya, uttamam. The word uttamam refers to that which is above material knowledge. Tama means the darkness of this material world, and Ut means transcendental. Generally, people are very interested in inquiring about mundane subject matters, but when one has lost such interest and is simply interested in transcendental subject matters, he is quite fit for being initiated. When one is actually initiated by the bona fide spiritual master, and when he is seriously engaged in the service of the Lord, he should be accepted as a Madhyamadikari.
So it should be accepted as a Madhyamadikari. It's not on that level, but it should be accepted. Because he's acting according to a Madhyamadikar. These four categories is acting according to this. Trying to develop love for Krishna, making friendship with the devotees, and then preaching to the innocent, avoiding the envious, and that. So yes, and that. But important here is to understand what is the relationship with the spiritual master. The relationship is that the student or the disciple inquires on how to make spiritual advancement. Inquiry should be there. One does not take a spiritual master just for the show to have a spiritual master. No, one should take advantage and ask questions. Jijnasu Shreya Uttanam. One should ask questions about the transcendental signs of Krishna consciousness. That is explained here. Yeah. So, Vanuya, can you read the next paragraph?
Yes, of course. The chanting of the holy names of Krishna is so sublime that if one chants the Hare Krishna Maha Mantra offensively, carefully avoiding the 10 offenses, he can certainly be gradually elevated to the point of understanding that there is no difference between the holy name of the Lord and the Lord himself. One who has reached such an understanding should be very much respected by neophyte devotees. One should know for certain that without chanting the holy name of the Lord offensively, one cannot be a proper candidate for advancement in Krishna consciousness. In Sri Chaitanya Charitamrita, Madhya 2269, it is said, Yahara Komala Shraddha Se Kanishtayana Krami Krami Tenu Bhakta Haibe Uttama.
Yeah, go. Yeah, continue.
One whose face is soft and pliable, I don't know how to pronounce this word, is soft and pliable.
Pliable.
And pliable is called a neophyte. But by gradually following the process, he will rise to the platform of a first-class devotee. Everyone begins his devotional life from the neophyte stage. But if one properly finishes chanting the prescribed number of rounds of Harinam, he is elevated step by step to the highest platform, Uttama Adhikari. The Krishna consciousness movement prescribes 16 rounds daily because people in the Western countries cannot concentrate for long periods while chanting on beats. Therefore, the minimum number of rounds is prescribed. However, Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur used to say that unless one chants at least 64 rounds of japa, 100,000 names, he is considered fallen, patita. According to his calculation, practically every one of us is fallen, but because we are trying to serve the Supreme Lord with all seriousness and without duplicity, we can expect the mercy of Lord Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, He who is famous as Patita Pavana, the deliverer of all of the fallen.
Yeah. So, Bhaktivedanta Saraswati Thakur, he asked sannyasis to chant 64 rounds. But for Grihasthas, he said 16 rounds because they are too busy with so many things. Vanaprasthas 32. That, in that way. But he said also what's mentioned here, unless one chants 64 rounds, one is considered fallen. But it's not easy. I chanted 64 rounds for some years, but there's also the quality of the rounds, and it's not easy to chant good rounds, because chanting rounds without concentration has not so much value. Better to chant 16 good rounds. So when Srila Satyaraj Khan, a great devotee of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, asked the Lord how a Vaishnava could be recognized, the Lord replied, Prabhu Kai Yanramukhe Suni Ekabara Krishna Nama Sai Puja Shasta Sabakara. If one hears a person say even once the words Krishna, that person should be accepted as the best man out of the common group. Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu continued. Ataiva Yangamukhe Eka Krishna Nama Saita Vaishnava Karyata Nara Samana. One who is interested in chanting the holy name of Krishna or who by practice likes to chant the names should be accepted as a Vaishnava and offered respect as such, at least within the mind. So, one of our friends, a famous English musician, so here Prabhupada speaks about George Harrison, has become attracted to chanting the holy name of Krishna, and even in his records he has several times mentioned the holy name of Krishna. At his home he offers respect to pictures of Krishna and also to the preachers of Krishna consciousness. In all regards, he has a very high estimation for Krishna's name and Krishna activities. Therefore, we offer respects to him without reservation, for we are actually seeing that this gentleman is advanced godly in Krishna consciousness. Such a person should always be shown respect. The conclusion is that anyone who is trying to advance in Krishna consciousness by regularly chanting the holy name should always be respected by Vaishnavas. On the other hand, we have witnessed that some of our contemporaries who are supposed to be great preachers have hardly fallen into the material conception of life because they have failed to chant the holy name of the Lord. While giving instructions to Sanatana Goswami, Lord Chaitanya divided devotional service into 3 categories. Shastra Yukti Naijai Trita Shadavan Madhyamadhikarisai Mahabhashyavan. A person whose conclusive knowledge of Shastra is not very strong, but has developed firm faith in the chanting Hare Krishna mantra, and who is always undeterred in the execution of his prescribed devotional service should be considered a Madhyamadhikar. Such a person is very fortunate. Madhyamadhikar is Shraddhavan, a staunchly faithful person, and he is actually a candidate for further advancement in devotional service. Therefore, the Chaitanya Charitamrita, it is said, Shraddhavan Janahai Bhakti Adhikar Uttama Madhyam Kanishta Shraddha Anusari. One becomes qualified as a devotee on the elementary platform, the intermediate platform, and the highest platform of devotional service according to the development of faith. So what is said here is the Kanishta have as little faith. His faith is very, it's not strong, can be broken easily by some outsiders who come to preach some other philosophy, and they can be their faith can be shaken. So their knowledge is not great, and their faith is low. The Madhyamadikari has not perfect knowledge, but his faith is strong. And the Uttamadikar, he has strong faith and perfect knowledge. So Lord Chaitanya continues that Shadavan Janhaya Bhakti Adhikar Uttama Madhyam Kanishta Shada Anushar. One becomes qualified as a devotee on the elementary platform, the intermediate platform, and the highest platform according to the development of faith. Again in Chaitanya Charitamrita, it is said, Shada Sabe Vishvakaya Sudrita Nishaya Krishna Bhakti Kaya Sarva Karma Kritahaya. By rendering transcendental service to Krishna, one automatically performs all subsidiary activities. This confident, firm faith favorable to the discharge of devotional service is called Shraddha. Shraddha, faith in Krishna, is the beginning of Krishna consciousness. Faith means strong faith. The words of Bhagavad Gita are authoritative instructions for faithful men, and whatever Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita is to be accepted as it is, without interpretation. This is the way Arjuna accepted Bhagavad Gita. After hearing Bhagavad Gita, Arjuna told, Sarvam eta ritam manye yamam vadash Keshava. Oh Krishna, I totally accept as truth what you have told me. So this is the correct way of understanding Bhagavad Gita, that is called Shraddha. So in the beginning of Bhagavad Gita, the Shraddha, in the preface, in the introduction, Srila Prabhupada said, one must at least accept Krishna theoretically, that he is God. And when you then study Bhagavad Gita, then the faith will develop. But that must be there in the beginning. So this is the correct way of understanding Bhagavad Gita, that is called Shraddha. It is not that one accepts a portion of Bhagavad Gita according to his own whimsical interpretation and then rejects another person. That is not Shraddha. Shraddha means accepting the instructions of Bhagavad Gita in their totality, especially the last instruction. Sarvadam Prichkam Mam Kamsram Vacham Tvam Sarvapabhya Mokshishyam Ma Chucha. When one becomes completely faithful in regard to this instruction, one's strong faith becomes the basis for advancement in spiritual life. So Prabhupada explains here the importance of faith that for advancing in spiritual life. Can someone read the next paragraph?
When one fully engages in chanting the Hare Krishna Maha Mantra, he gradually realizes his own spiritual identity. Unless one faithfully chants the Hare Krishna mantra, Krishna does not reveal himself. Sevan Mukhi hi Jivado Swayam Eva Suratyaraha. Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu 234. We cannot realize the Supreme Principle of Godhead by any artificial means. We must engage faithfully in the service of the Lord. Such service begins with the tongue Sevan Mukhi hi Jivado, which means that we should always chant the holy names of the Lord and accept Krishna Prasada. We should not chant or accept anything else. When this process is faithfully followed, the Supreme Lord reveals himself to the devotee. When a person realizes himself to be an eternal servant of Krishna, he loses interest in everything but Krishna's service. Always thinking of Krishna, devising means by which to spread the holy name of Krishna, he understands that his only business is in spreading the Krishna consciousness movement all over the world. Such a person is to be recognized as Uttama Adhikari, and his association should be immediately accepted according to the 6 processes, Dadati, Pratigrinati, etc. Indeed, the advanced Uttama Adhikari Vaishnava devotee should be accepted as a spiritual master. Everything one possesses should be offered to him, for it is enjoined that one should deliver whatever he has to the spiritual master. The brahmacharya in particular is supposed to beg alms from others and to offer them to the spiritual master. However, one should not imitate the behavior of an advanced devotee or Mahabhagavata without being self-realized, or by such imitation one will eventually become degraded.
So these are a lot of things we can observe. Someone who is only interested to, means only business is to spread Krishna consciousness all over the world, a sign of Uttamadikar, that so yes, Prabhupada stresses very much on the ability of someone to spread the Krishna conscious movement, that and be dedicated to that. Okay, this is Mahabhagavat, empowered to spread Krishna consciousness. Now this last verse, this last paragraph is very important. That in this verse, Srila Rupa Goswami advised the devotee to be intelligent enough to distinguish between Kanishta, Madhyam, and Uttamadikar. The devotee should also know his own position and should not try to imitate the devotee situated on a higher platform. Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur has given some practical hints to the effect of the Uttam Adhikar Vaishnava can be recognized by his ability to convert fallen souls to Vaishnavas as an other quality of an Uttam Adhikar. One should not become a spiritual master unless he has attained the platform of Uttam Adhikar. That is one point, but a neophyte Vaishnava or Vaishnava situated on the intermediate platform can also accept disciples. But such disciples must be on the same platform. It should be understood that they cannot advance very well to the ultimate goal under his insufficient guidance, because one who is not an Uttamadikar, he can bring others only to his platform, not to the higher platform. But even if one accepts a Madhyamadikar, the Madhyamadikar will advance also. That is very clear. A neophyte Vaishnava or Vaishnava situated on an intermediate platform can also accept disciples, but such disciples must be on the same platform. It should be understood that they cannot advance very well towards the ultimate goal of life under his insufficient guidance. Therefore, disciples should be careful to accept an Uttamadikara as a spiritual master. But one thing is important also to consider. When Prabhupada presented that, then we can understand that this is in the traditional system. You had the disciple and the guru. There were no other gurus. But in ISKCON we have a multi-guru situation. So we accept Diksha from a certain guru, a spiritual master, but we are taking also Shiksha from other advanced devotees that who may be even on a higher platform, but it is the duty of a disciple to see one's own spiritual master as an Uttam Adhikar. So these are very important instructions that we have gone through in this because now, no, it's not this one. Moment, first stop it. PowerPoint here. You have to stop this. Okay, now it will go. Yes, Erika.
Yes, I would like to ask if it's possible. So, if I understand correctly, at the time of Srila Prabhupada, it was kind of easy for the devotees because they could choose him and he was just the best choice, right?
Yeah, it was
And
easier.
yeah, and do I understand correctly that actually before the tradition was kind of like the acharya give initiation, so devotees didn't need to struggle so much with this problem because everyone know who is the most elevated person. So
Yeah,
that was actually the easiest way, and for us now is a bit quite complicated because there are some how can I say, some signs which I can see just if I have the possibility to be for a while close to that person, to see personally, which actually is now just the online lessons are available mainly.
yeah, of course. But we have, especially in our movement, Prabhupada gave us this movement, which facilitates everything. And that first, we are still accepting, we have our spiritual master, but we also accept Srila Prabhupada as our spiritual master. That we are not direct disciples, but we are also grand disciples of grand disciples of Prabhupada. So we pray to Prabhupada, we do Prabhupada Guru Puja. So this mercy of Prabhupada is still there, but we are our spiritual master connects us with Prabhupada, and that's how we see it in our movement. He connects us with Prabhupada. He helps us to understand Prabhupada's instructions. That our spiritual masters, we should never see it separate from Prabhupada. And in that way, we stay on the safe line. And we take shiksha from different advanced devotees. And that is important. And by that, because we should not focus just on our Diksha Guru. That has been shown to be too dangerous in our movement. If the Diksha Guru falls away, you have a big problem. But if you take shelter of different Shiksha Gurus, and your Diksha Guru, then it's more balanced. You get also, so therefore it's important to take advantage. So Prabhupada gave us this movement, and we have different gurus. We take shelter of them, and so we can take advantage of that. But at the same time, it's good to be careful and to choose a guru who is advanced. And that is a responsibility of the disciple. No one else can do that. So always best to wait some time. That it's not a bad thing to wait 5, 6, 7 years. No, Prabhupada waited much longer. Of course, that's not because he was testing the spiritual master, but that because of his situation. Yeah. But it's good to be very certain Yeah, that's good. Yeah.
Sorry. Thank you very much for this answer. So definitely I understood that. Probably I still continue to wait till I become a bit more clarified, and I will have maybe later some kind of qualification to be able to see clearly what at the moment is not possible. But still, I would like to ask. It was mentioned by Srila Prabhupada clearly. Then, if the guru is just a kind of madhyam, still he will be elevated with the time naturally. So, therefore, at one point, the devotee don't need to worry, but still is very important that we can't go higher than our guru realization. And my question is, then what happening when the guru fall? I understood that here are so many shiksha guru to help us thanks to the institution, but still, if if a guru fall, then is a kind of crazy still, right?
Yeah. If the guru falls, then we are reconnecting with Prabhupada, and we continue to follow the instructions of the guru until before he fell. Until before we continue to follow his instructions, and we take shelter of Srila Prabhupada, and we take shelter of all the god brothers and god sisters of the guru. But technically, you remain still connected with the Guru Parampara. That once you are initiated, you are connected with the Guru Parampara. But you can take reinitiation. That's your decision, but that's possible. Yeah.
And still, we can say that. Therefore, if the guru fall, actually from that naturally come that I will not be able to improve, right? Because the first statement was that because of this is very important to choose the right person. Even if he is just a madhyam, can be a kind of problem later maybe. But if he fall, then is a kind of sign that, okay, now even for the disciple, the process, the spiritual path is a kind of stopped. And if I know well, even if we would like to accept the shiksha guru after we have initiation, we should still go to ask permission for our diksha guru.
Yeah,
so,
but
so complicated.
This is a misunderstanding, that if the guru falls, I cannot make spiritual advancement anymore. That you have still, because diksha and shiksha are on an equal level. They are not different, the shiksha guru and diksha guru. You have to give the same respect, and they are the same representatives of Krishna. Krishna does not make a difference between diksha and shiksha, and if we do that, we commit Vaishnava aparadh. So we accept shiksha gurus, other shiksha gurus, according to our choice. You don't have to ask your guru, can I get shiksha from this one or that one? That they do that in Russia, I heard, but technically that's not needed. Our Guru Parampara is going together with shiksha, not diksha. So because they accept shiksha only, is their advancement stopped if their Guru Maharaj falls away? No. You can still make spiritual advancement. Therefore, we should accept instructions from different gurus, and not one guru. That's also dangerous. You create a certain guru groupism, and that is not the right thing to do. That we should see all other gurus on the same level as our spiritual master in terms of respect and hearing from them does not mean they are on the same level. But we should take advantage and that it's not that you accept the spiritual master and I'm only going to hear from my spiritual master anymore. No, that's wrong. That's a neophyte misconception, and that there's disastrous results. That results in Vaishnava apparat. It is said the god brother or god sister of our spiritual master should be treated in the same way. And we should also learn from them. Does that help to understand that?
Yes, thank you, Maharaj.
Yes.
Slowly, step by step, I will get closer to understand.
Yes, Venuya?
Thank you.
May I please ask something regarding text number 4?
Yeah.
There's some small contradiction for me regarding this recommendation to take prasada together. Because Srila Prabhupada took prasad very consciously alone, was sitting the face to the wall, and for me is my personal need is also more to take prasadam. I understand the social aspect of this, but so for health and to be to eat consciously is for me alone a little more helpful. How to take this instruction with taking prasadam together.
Yeah, and that. Because during the prasadam you associate with each other, you talk. If the talk is about Krishna, it's okay. But I think there's nothing against taking prasadam alone. That many times that can be more practical. I don't see an issue with that. But it's one of the 6 loving exchanges to give prasad, to receive prasad. Yeah. But Prabhupada, of course, he was on the highest level. It doesn't matter for him. But in the beginning, as neophyte, it's good to serve prasad, to receive prasad, and to engage in these loving exchanges. But when one advances, that one is fully engaged in devotional service, that becomes less important. Good. Then we will end here. I have a PowerPoint here, but text 5 was important. I will post it on the WhatsApp group and you can look at it. But it contains all the points we have discussed. Hare Krishna. Jai Prabhupada.
Hare Krishna, Maharaj. Thank you very much.
Hare Krishna. Thank you very, very much, Maharaj. Thank you very much.
Hare Krishna. Jai. See you on Thursday.